Hey, Howard, with all those impressions, I actually was inspired to check out richlittle.com.
Yeah.
And just so you know, he actually sells 8x10 charcoal celebrity portraits for $40 a piece, if you're interested.
Oh, now he's gotten into the art thing.
He's Da Vinci. He's a Renaissance man.
Charcoal celebrity portraits.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a Tom Cruise or a Humphrey Bogart charcoal, just go to Rich Little and you can get it.
Wow.
You know how everybody wants to be a Renaissance man? They said that William F. Buckley once built a harpsichord from scratch and then played it.
William Buckley was into everything non-commercial,
Yeah.
like just shit nobody cared about.
He built a harpsichord.
If you want another impression, I can do an impression of my mother. I was on the phone last night with my mom. My mom's so funny, man. She goes, what do you want me to do with these posters?
What posters?
Right. That's what I go, what posters? She goes, what posters? Like 5 months ago, I was at her house. I went over there.
Yes.
I'm helping her fix up her house.
Uh-huh.
So, in what used to be my room in high school, my parents hung that giant NBC poster that I hate.
Right, that thing that was for the subways.
Yeah. It said Imus in the morning and Stern in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And it was weirdness, more afternoon weirdness, or I don't even know what it was. And it was like all cartoon characters of our characters.
I remember that.
Because it was like Imus's poster, so I particularly hate it. So they have that big giant thing. My mother goes, so when I was there, she goes, well, you know, we are redecorating. And,
that's right.
you know, what do you want to do with this? We're going to, I guess, she couldn't bear to tell me she was throwing it out.
She's taking it down.
So I said to her in passing, I go, well, you know what, maybe we'll just sort of archive it somewhere, you know. That's another word for throwing it in a storage bin.
Right,
and
like
hoping one day it'll be worth something.
You don't have to see it.
Right. Luckily, I can keep buying more and more storage bins for all my garbage. Like, that's why my apartment's so neat. It's not that it's neat. I just take everything and throw it in the garbage bin, which is called a storage bin.
It's garbage you don't throw out.
Because people come over to my apartment and they go, man, you're really organized. And it's, you know, I say, that's right. You
don't know. All those storage places you see in Manhattan, Howard's junk is all over them.
I get a bill every month for about $50,000 for junk. One day, if I ever go in there to look at it, I think rats will be living in all my stuff. So I must have said to my mother in passing, you know what? Call Laura, my assistant, and you know, I'll call her, and don't worry. So, it's, you know, I know my mother. My mother's so anal retentive. It's probably been sticking in her craw. I probably said, okay, I'll have Laura call you. And meanwhile, I do have a few things going on in life. Do you know what I mean? I know.
Everybody calls
busy.
you like that's the only thing you need to do. So imagine, why haven't you done it yet?
Yeah, imagine months later, my mother goes, well, what do you want us to do with the poster? I'm like, what poster? She goes, the poster, the NBC hanging on our wall. You said you wanted it, and you were going to have Laura call. I mean, first of all, she's not decorating her house yet. The thing could just fucking lay there for the next 6 months or whatever, however long it takes.
It's bothering her.
Oh, they're on fire about it. They sit there and stare at that thing and it says, he hasn't called. He said Laura would call, and no one has called. And I'm not going to call. Well, if he said he's going to call, he should call.
And this is an all-day conversation.
This goes on all day. And it's like, I just know what goes on in that house. The whole house is empty. There's nobody living in it except for the two of them. Just the two of them. It's like one big empty mausoleum.
And they don't need that room for anything.
They don't need it for anything. They don't use it for anything. But they're preparing for this big makeover in the room. My mom's going to use it as a knitting room.
Oh.
You know, she's going to sit in that room.
She has to have a separate room to knit.
Well, they don't know what to do. So there's going to be a knitting room.
Where is she knitting now?
She probably knits downstairs, and now she's going to knit in the room. So, but of course, the one thing that's sticking there is that stupid poster.
She can't knit looking at that.
And they couldn't bear to throw it in the garbage. Just throw it in the fucking garbage. I would never know the difference.
Right. I mean, she didn't even have to involve you in this in the first place.
Well, they figured maybe I want it.
And that was a nice thing, but now it's become your problem.
He hasn't called. When did you first discuss this with him? Well, when they were here. And we said, you heard me, and you heard him say that Laura would call me.
Oh, boy. And you never
no one has called me. And let me tell you something. If I say to someone, someone's going to call, they call. That's right. That's because you're doing the right thing.
Oh,
no one ever said, he's probably busy.
And this, no, that wouldn't occur to them. Like, my mother called up like I would know what she's talking about.
Right, the poster.
The poster. And, you want to say to your mom, are you brain damaged?
No,
but she's your mom, and I love her. But my parents will obsess on this poster.
Yeah.
Her and my father will put me down into the ground.
You remember when he made us wait?
Oh.
And then it'll become a legendary story. You talk about things. There was a time, do you remember, Ben, the story about the poster? When Howard said he would take the poster? I remember that.
All you'll have to do is be in a room and having a conversation with somebody and say, I'll have Laura call you. Oh, let me tell you about the time he told me Laura was going to call. Well, we're sitting with a poster from NBC. And look, we were ready to get rid of this thing. Months!
And no one called. So when he says Laura's going to call,
don't hold your breath.
That's the code word.
You'll never hear a word.
So anyway, I wrote Laura a note last night. Can you please call my mom? How's Laura going to pick up the poster? Does she have a van? Does she have a big enough back seat? I go, Ma, don't worry about it. If we don't want it, we'll just throw it out. Okay. And when is she calling?
Oh, my God. Whoa.
I love my mom.
Of course you
truly do, but her and my dad can obsess on something.
Okay, that's all what else are they going to do?
Right. And my mom wouldn't just call up Laura and say, hey, come. Well, but maybe that would be wrong.
No, she makes it a problem.
Yeah,
she
waits.
Sits there until it really irritates her.
Yeah. And it always somehow ends up me being the jerk-off.
Yeah.
Oh, here's my mom. Hi, Mommy.
Hello?
Hi, my mother.
Hi.
Hi.
Should I tell you the way it really happened?
All right, go ahead. Just for the record. My mom will straighten me out.
We're getting the first time.
How
did it really happen?
It really happened when I said to your father, I think it's time to get rid of this poster. It is yellowing and doesn't look as good as it used to.
Right.
And he said, well, we should offer it to Howard.
Right. That's right.
Right. Okay, that's number one on the hit parade.
Okay.
When we offered it to you, you said, I'll get somebody to pick it up. You never mentioned Laura. You never talked of Laura.
Right.
I never talked of Laura.
Right.
So your father said to me, they're going to probably be coming soon. Call Howard. He's probably forgotten about it.
I did. I forgot about it.
Okay. So I called you and I said, Howard, what do you want to do with it? I never mentioned Laura.
No, I just thought it was funny that you said, what do you want to do with the poster? And I had no idea what you were talking about. And
well, I reminded you.
Yeah, you did. All right. Don't get upset.
So what are you carrying on?
I don't like to upset her.
You don't like to upset me?
No, my mom breaks my heart.
You do a pretty good job.
My mom breaks my heart.
In what way?
You don't know you break my heart?
In what way?
My mom had a tough life growing up.
Oh.
And, her sadness has become my sadness.
But it's over, you two.
No, but her life was horrible.
But it's over.
Not for me.
Rejoice in the fact that she survived it.
No, but my mom...
And she's had a wonderful life.
Right.
No, my mom...
She's not Patrick Swayze.
But you gotta say, when I was growing up, my mom would tell me about her life over and over again.
That, but
I
you
never told you over and over.
Well, you kind of did, but it's okay.
Ridiculous.
Oh, I know your life story better than I know my own.
You know my life story. Well, maybe you want to know my life story. Maybe you want to take it on.
And when you're a little kid and you hear your mom's life story, my mom's life story is horrible. I mean, there isn't a worse life on the planet.
Oh, stop it. That's where you really go off the rails.
No, it's true.
Talk to somebody living an orphanage life of AIDS in Africa, where both their parents were killed.
We're going to Africa?
And they're starving, and they can't get an education. And then tell me how worse.
All right, my mom's second place to that life.
All right.
My mom was
What are you doing? Are you fighting with Robin about my life?
Yes. My mom's life was horrible.
It's ridiculous. And you're one big exaggeration.
No, it's not. It's really a bad life.
She wasn't in a concentration camp. There were plenty of worse stories.
Listen.
There's plenty of worse stories.
No, not many. So anyway,
my goodness, I could give you plenty.
Like, my mom had a really tough life. And then, like, the other day, she sent me something in the mail, and she wrote my name on an envelope. Howard Stern is my name, by the way. And I looked at the handwriting, and I began to get so sad. Because
the handwriting made you sad?
Because her handwriting is so... She tries to have such perfect handwriting, my mom.
I do not.
You do. You're very proud of it. And I could just picture...
Get out of town.
I could picture a little girl who didn't have a mother. Listen to me. I can picture a little girl who didn't have a mother, who didn't have a father, really.
You got that from my handwriting.
And wait a second. Listen to me. Would you listen to me for a second?
You don't break his heart. He breaks his own heart.
You asked why you break my heart, and I'm telling you. I picture a little girl somewhere off living with a relative that her father passed her off to, and she so desperately wants to...
Well, that was instead of an orphanage.
Right. And she desperately wants to fit in and be loved. And rather than go the way of, like, becoming a criminal or something, which I would have done if I was her life.
Sure.
She would go to school and want to have perfect...
And practice penmanship.
Well, want to make sure she did well at whatever she did.
Sure.
To be accepted.
Absolutely.
Well, everybody tries to do well.
No.
Come on.
It broke my heart. And I took the envelope and I put it in a box.
This is your fantasy.
Would you let me finish?
See, this is when they
say...
is
your fantasy.
No, yes, it is not.
See, this is where that generation goes, your generation overthinks everything.
So I took the envelope that my mother wrote my name on, and I put it in a box and I saved it.
That's wonderful, Howard, but you created a fantasy to make it really special.
There's no fantasy.
There is a fantasy.
Robin,
you
know what, Robin, with all due respect... With all due respect, you don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know that she did that.
I know what she did.
Oh, my God.
Mom, did you try to have good handwriting in school?
Sure, we did penmanship.
Right. And
she didn't do it alone.
All the kids in school did penmanship.
And when the teacher recognized you, it felt good, right?
Sure.
Were you specially recognized for penmanship?
No, she wanted to be loved.
Penmanship isn't that good. Really?
Nobody loved her.
Oh, cut it out, Howard.
But it's true, right, Ma?
You know something? What's happening to you?
I'm feeling your pain.
You're feeling my pain.
You don't like that?
A long time
oh, bullshit. I was trained to feel your pain. I'm like a dog.
You're a mess is what you are.
No.
Well, you love to feel bad, so instead of thinking of all... She's had... I mean, that ended with the marriage at 18 to your father, and she started her wonderful life of building her own family. You have ignored all of the rest of her life to concentrate on her childhood.
No, you don't know. My mother's sadness is deep.
You don't know. Nobody knows the trouble I see.
You always look so downtrodden when I see you.
But you said that, through meditation and everything else that
she's doing well now.
Right, so, I mean, that's a huge
she's meditated for how many years, Howard?
Who is speaking? Who's that third voice?
That's Artie.
Who can get a word in with these two yenties? I'm trying to have a moment with my mother and relate to my audience.
But I just wonder why you concentrate on her childhood as opposed to her wonderful adulthood.
I would sit at my mother's knee, and she would tell me her saga.
Yes.
Every day.
And you have a tendency to dwell on the bad things.
True.
I won't go through the saga until I'm not on the phone with my mother because it would be too painful for her to hear.
Yeah, why would you want to upset her?
Right.
She's having a good day.
But I can tell you her story.
I'm trying to.
Right. Mom, thank you. I love you. And
I love you too, Howard. And when you tell a story...
Get it right.
Get it right.
Okay, thank you.
Right,
and throw out the poster.
Yeah, just rip it down.
You know something? I was ready to throw it out.
All right, Laura will get in touch with you today. Thank you.
The problem would have been solved.
Thank you, Mother.
All right, I love you.
I love you, too. Bye-bye.
All right.
No, I'll give you the saga now.
Here, I got to say, what you said was beautiful about her penmanship, but I think Robin is very right, too.
Yeah, he's created a movie.
Here's the saga. When I was 9 years old.
See?
This is what I listen to every day.
He hears this in his head.
Let me tell you, this is every day. If you don't think the world is a scary place to me, here we go. This is like hearing Freddy Krueger every day.
You sure this happened or you didn't replay it in your head every day?
Right.
I didn't want to do it with my mom on the phone, but here we go.
Did you tell yourself this story every day, or did
I made this up. No,
every day?
She said it every day.
Every day.
My mother was very depressed. When I was 9 years old, my mother went to the hospital. Well, those doctors, those ghouls, they got a hold of her. And we never knew what happened to her. She never returned. She never came out of the hospital. And we were kids, and no one told us. They didn't even tell me my mother died. They just brought us to the funeral. And that was the first I learned of it. And I don't know, my father, he might have killed her.
Oh, God.
Because we don't know. And he was a very violent man. We would go to a movie, and he would pull out a knife and start to fight. And then when my mother died, it was just me and my sister. And my father sent us off. We were going to an orphanage, but out of the kindness of your Aunt Pearl, they took us in Ohio somewhere. Then Grandpa married a nice woman. And the nice woman was to be our mother. But, of course, he ruined that.
Oh, my God.
And then the woman was nice to me. You know, I only had one pair of underwear, and I never had a toy.
Oh, my goodness.
I never had a doll. I never had anything. I had nothing. Now,
I'm laughing at the music. Now,
I'm sitting there. Now, you can laugh about my mother's story, but let me tell you, when you're a kid... Wait, turn that shit off. When you're a kid, you start... That's like the first 1 minute of the saga.
Look, my mother, you were talking about somebody in here the other day who used to use a slingshot to kill pigeons to eat.
Wycliffe.
My mother did the same thing.
All right, I'm not listening.
Do you see me sitting around? My mother's mother was retarded, practically.
You're as mental as they come, trust me. So there's something at work there. Nobody thinks you're normal, Robin. Don't pass yourself out as normal.
And here's your music.
Right. And maybe you should think about your mother's story.
Oh, my mother had to drop out of school in 7th grade. She never got to practice penmanship.
Well, that's nothing. We were shipped off.
Oh, my goodness.
We were shipped off into a concentration camp. Robin, isn't this the weekend you have to fly across the country for another treatment where people can lay hands on you? All right. Hey, listen, we got to take a break. We're going to talk with Amy Fisher next. And we have a whole bunch of things. All right.
I'm trying to think of a story about my mom, but nothing comes close.
Let that click. Come on.
All right. Let's take a break and we'll be back.
My mother used to trap blackbirds. They didn't even get pigeons.
Oh, my.
Well, we trapped blackbirds and ate pigeons.
Oh.
And practiced our penmanship. All right. We'll be back right after these words.